Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Monday, September 23rd, 2024. I am Reverend Dr. Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral.
I am Reverend Dr. Robert Griffin, the executive minister. Faith and religion can be complicated for the LGBTQ community. Surveys show that evangelical faith is the justification for the greatest attacks on the queer community. The Queer God Squad is going to explore our religious community. Let's explore the big news of the day and what it means to you.
I'm Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, the Minister of Connections. This is live, and then we are available on demand. If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform and social media.
At Sunshine Cathedral, we're here to tell you that you are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Who was the first Christian minister to picket for gay rights? In 1960, Congregationalist minister Robert Wood urged churches to welcome lesbian and gay people in America's first book on homosexuality and Christianity, Christ and the Homosexual. He went on to become the first member of the clergy to picket for LGBTQ rights at the 1965 protests, and he did so in his clergy collar. His advocacy for LGBTQ rights continued throughout his long life. He died in 2018 at the age of 95. Wood wrote in his book, and I'm quoting, "The church has done much to keep the homosexual from Christ. Society, often under the influence of the church, has also thrown roadblocks in the pathway of the homosexual. But the struggle is difficult, the motives misunderstood, the behavior pattern considered perverted. Yet Jesus Christ, whose struggle was also difficult, whose motives were also misunderstood, whose behavior pattern was revolutionary, awaits all human beings." End quote. The basic point is that the saving message of Christ and the free-flowing grace of God are as much for the homosexual as the heterosexual, that the church must minister equally to both. Wood served congregations for 34 years. According to the LGBTQ Religious Archives Network, Woods, a military veteran and graduate of both Penn and Oberlin, had his first same-sex encounter in the military. For his courage and being so far ahead of his time, the Queer God Squad celebrates the life and ministry of Reverend Robert Wood. I love that we're sharing stories of people who have done these things for LGBTQ rights. It's really important to know LGBTQ plus history. I love that this is a clergy person who has stepped out to do that kind of work. You know, the very first part of November, November 1, November 2 is All Saints and All Souls Day. And every year in our liturgy here at Sunshine Cathedral, Reverend Dr. Darrell puts together a litany of all the queer saints that we read as part of our service. And I think we need to include Dr. Wood this year.
I don't think we have it yet, but we will do.
I don't think that we do have it yet. One thing that kind of is puzzling to me, though, is that Dr. Wood did this so many years ago. And yes, there are other LGBTQ plus and friendly clergy out there doing the hard work. But all clergy people should be doing this kind of work. They really should. If we're to follow the mandate of Christ, to love all, to love one another, to serve one another, to not judge. This is the kind of work that we need to do. If you don't have people that you know are LGBTQ as part of your congregation, you need to get out there and you need to do some work.
Yeah. People who know of Reverend Wood, Robert Wood, either they don't, they've never heard of him, or they know what he did. They knew he wrote the book, but they don't know that he was writing from a personal perspective. They don't know that he was gay. I think it's amazing that they just thought some straight guy decided to, do this, which he could have done. I mean, thank God for the allies, but he had a longtime partner. He had experiences in the military. And of course, he went to Oberlin College and University of Pennsylvania, which is an Ivy League. Too bad he couldn't get into a good school. But he was, this guy. But also a trailblazer. Let's just look at the timeline. First of all, the 60s and early 70s, those revolutionary times. That's the women's movement, the queer movement, the Black liberation movement, the peace movement. All these things just coming onto the scene. And so he was sort of at the vanguard of that. But he is protesting in 65. The Metropolitan Community Churches are born in 68. The Stonewall riots are in 69, and the first Pride Parade is in 1970. He sort of kicks off a trajectory, like the first domino that's not, and I don't know that one thing is connected to another thing. I mean, these all things happen individually, but that they're happening at the same time shows you that it was time. It was time for people to start standing up and coming out and speaking up, and wherever we are now, and there's farther to go, and people are trying to roll it back some or whatever. But as much as we've done, someone got it started, and the Robert Woods and the Troy Perrys and the Marsha P. Johnsons, they were those people who got it kicked off. So yeah, we work hard, and we've seen a lot of progresses, but somebody did something when it was just a crazy idea that anyone could do anything. And here's Wood, and here's Perry, and here's Johnson, just doing it. So yeah, we've done a lot, but we might not have done anything if not for them.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking about the 65 protests, like, well, that was 2 years before I was born. And so just thinking about what the world was like then, how it has shaped and changed over the years. And the thing that really got me in thinking, putting this kind of for some context for us today is, this happened in 1965, and still here in 2024, we're still fighting some of the same issues. And I'm so sick of the gay agenda being the issue that everybody needs to kind of vote against or vote for or whatever. It's like, we're all human beings. And this is what we were fighting for back in the 1960s, 1965, trying to, I think, to at least give it a benchmark of saying, this is how we move forward. This is how we the church has done this to you. And done this to society, and here's how we can reclaim and welcome back those who you said have been need to be rejected in the church. And I'm just thinking, like, these issues, we've been still going at it for all this time, and you would think at one day, yes, things have improved, things have gotten better. We take a step forward, we take 3 back, we take 5 forward. Things have, it's kind of like the everything is continuing to move, and I just keep thinking, like, why does this issue continually have to be the issue that is always like the third rail? Really, I think the gay issues would not, they replace Social Security as a third rail. This is not a third rail. Everybody wants to step on it and tell people what to be afraid about it, why you shouldn't do it, that, these are evil, they're not part of our society, shouldn't be part of our society. Let's legislate them out of our society. But yet you have people like Wood who stood up all that
years ago, yeah.
And who knows who his allies were at that time. But still, we are moving forward, and we stand on shoulders like this and many others to do the work that needs to be done.
And you can silence queer people, and you can hide queer people, and you can try to make queer people hide themselves, but you cannot get rid of queer people.
Right.
If every, somehow some death ray or whatever can get all of us, and we all drop dead, every single one on the planet, every queer person on the planet drops dead today, within a generation, within, whoever is born the minute after we drop dead, within 20 years of that, you're going to have a significant portion of the population who are queer. Because that's the way it is.
It just is.
And so, you can't torture it away. You can't legislate it away. You can't preach it away, or it would be away by now. And so that must be very frustrating for them too, because it doesn't fit their narrative. That if we just preach, people will convert, and if people convert, then it'll go away. And that is not. There's no evidence to suggest that's true. Right. In fact, there's overwhelming evidence to suggest that is bullshit, and damaging, and hurtful. And so I think that's what's so frustrating for them, is that they know, they have to know at least level, intuitive, that they are preaching a lie, but if they're meaner about it, maybe that'll make it true. That doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
You can't. We're here to stay. And 7 generations from now, we'll still be here. That's the way it is. And it's part of nature. It's part of the world. It's part of reality. If you want to theologize it, it's part of God's plan. And so, and that's very annoying to them. And, but, maybe they will one day get healed and decide, you know what, we're all children of God, and we should all be treated with dignity and respect.
From your mouth.
Right.
But it's like the meaner they get, the more money they raise. And that's what frustrates me.
I think that's what it is. I think that's it's all about.
The meaner they get with it, the more spiteful. Oh, they're out to our children. They're going to do this. They're going to do. Like, really? I just read this one article about somebody who, like, If you're more concerned about the gender in someone's gender in the bathroom, that's not their problem. That's your weird issue.
That is your whole weird issue.
That is just your weird issue.
I've
And I'm like,
never been
I
in a
don't
stall in a public
understand that.
restroom and wondered what the person in the next stall was about. Like, wonder what they look like. Wonder what their parts are. It never occurred to me. And so that people are giving this a lot of energy. That's not a good look on you.
Exactly. That says a
Think
whole lot
about
about
there,
what
honey.
you're going through and what you're doing, and like leave out of the bathroom.
Let a person pee.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. Get out.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Move on.
As
Make
my
room.
86-year-old mother says, they just want to pee, for God's sakes.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad. We want to thank you for joining us. We're daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ plus community is talking about. Sunshine Cathedral is the world's largest progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. And we're all in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake.
Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad. Goodbye.